There are many dangers in this kind of practices that we do, spiritual practices, energy practices. I don't even like the word spiritual anymore because, and even spiritual people, because they are the most complicated people in life. You know, they have lots of ideas, lots of diet guidelines, lots of higher realms and lower realms, lots of conducts, behaviors, and stereotypes. It's very difficult to live like that. And this kind of problem is created by the mind. It's created by a twist of the mind, if we put it like this. If we would be like a tree like that, just not thinking, just being, that would be much easier. Even our energy practice will grow much faster. But we are made of different elements: thinking, feeling, acting, physical body, the energetic body, the energy, let's call it in this way, that empowers all of them. So the goal is always to try to balance ourselves in these three aspects: thinking, feeling, and acting. But some practitioners bring a lot into the practice of Qigong, actually coloring and transforming the practice to such a degree that sometimes become useless, sometimes becomes very limited, especially when it comes of a subtle aspect of the vital energy. When I mean subtle, I mean perceivable, experienceable, and relatable amongst practitioners, the same experience. If there is too much mind, such things will not happen. I might say that there is a greater risk. It's the ego inflation. I know that I don't even like this word ego. Actually, it doesn't really exist in one sense. Once we find out that it was just a big imagination, in one sense, of course, we have a body, we have a mind, but the way we saw ourselves might change in time. But there is a risk when we bring our personality into the practice and we start to build on it. Maybe we want to become great teachers, and maybe we want to learn from the greatest masters and get some exposure through Facebook posts and publications where we show off our things and we show off while we do certain exercises. We show off all the achievements and proof that make us see in the eyes of other unfortunate people that they don't have much experience as someone to trust. And this is something very bad, I mean, in my opinion. It might be good for economic reason, you might make some money, but eventually this is not a good thing. This is not a good thing, and also it's really a deviation of our genuine path towards a greater knowing of ourselves. Because in that case, we are not even seeing what we're doing most of the time. If you talk to somebody and say to them, very politely, you know, because you have to be in the right position to say something like this to somebody, but hopefully you do it for the right reason. A person might get very defensive. No, what are you talking about? They don't even realize what we're doing, because the spiritual identity or the spiritual ego is just the same as a normal ego. What it is, this dumb ego? It's just a self-centered perception of life. Me, my thinking. It's a storage of memory. It's a place where all our memories and reactions to people get stored in our brain, so we are not able to meet people fresh when we talk to them, because there is a past, there is an history right there. We don't give chance to things to change. And this is has dramatic consequence on our practice, because it's like going into a junction, into two roads. Then one road, once you take it, it's very hard actually to come out of it, because there is a sort of reinforcement of those ideas, of those models that you have in your mind about yourself and about life. So we have to be very careful about bringing too much mind into this kind of quest that we have. I think there's nothing wrong to be dissatisfied with life to a certain degree and trying to find something more. I think that's great, because it means that we have curiosity. We have a curiosity for life. We want to we have some questions, right? Who are we? What we're doing here? All the rest of it. That's great. But when this thing becomes too much intellectualized and too much twist on it, we think that we understood. When it's not possible to understand this thing. It's just living and just get yourself out of the way. But the problem is that during our personal journey, these kind of things can happen. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. We can even correct ourselves if we understood that we may be making some wrong assumption. But if we think that we have achieved a particular level of alignment, we are able to do things that will save other people, that will increase the energy level to other people just with our... That's all nonsense, my friends. That's all nonsense. Because the first question will be, who's doing all of this? Who is claiming all of this? You know, it's just something that sometimes happens, that we're able to do certain stuff. But the serious practitioner keeps things quiet. It doesn't need to show off. Unfortunately and fortunately, we are in this era of social media nonsense, where everybody has a saying, and you know, we just have a bigger reach in our stupid things we say, and our reasonable things sometimes we say too. So be careful to bring too much of your ideas into a path. Let's put it in this way. It doesn't have to be Nei Gong, it can be anything. You know, any path is respectable. Be careful. Keep your mind fresh and inquire all the time if you are building new ideas that are actually taking you where you think is the right place, but it is actually a very wrong place that you haven't realized yet because you're not humble enough to discard your own thoughts.
Just before you go, I want to tell you that there is a new book available called Story of a Nei Gong Practitioner. It's a book that I wrote recently. It has been translated in 3 languages, in Spanish and in Italian also. It is a book that it's perfect, I think, for everybody practicing energy practices, whether you're doing Nei Gong or just qigong or some kind of energy practices. But also if you are a spiritual seeker, as I am and I was actually for a long time, I think this book can provide great insight. If you want to check it out, there is also the audiobook available. This book at the moment is available on Amazon, so you can buy it everywhere in your country. And the audiobook has been distributed at the moment, so might be everywhere in a little time, in platforms such as Audible, Apple Books, all these kind of places. If you want to get it, you can also go on my website in the link below, and also in the web address that you see on this video, Nei Gong Jiaoshi Andrea /book, where you can get the audiobook and the book for a very special price, in the sense that you're gonna have also a promo code to use for your first Nei Gong class. So click the link, go there, check it out. I think it's worth it, and hopefully it's going to be useful for you for your energy practice journey. But not only that, it's a book that can really transform the way you think.